There are moments in life when you meet someone and something inside you shifts. It's not attraction in the shallow sense, and it's not just emotional comfort. It feels almost spiritual, like your soul remembers them from a time before time. Chosen one, this is not an illusion. That pull you feel is evidence of divine orchestration. God Himself has woven threads between your spirit and theirs, creating a connection that refuses to fade. No matter how much you try to suppress it, ignore it, or explain it away, it keeps resurfacing because it is meant to. Think about how many people you've met in your lifetime, countless faces, endless conversations, fleeting friendships, and yet none of them lingered in your heart the way this person does. That's because this isn't ordinary, it's extraordinary. God does not waste emotional energy, and He does not plant such weight in your heart without purpose. This connection is a signal that something bigger is happening, a preparation for something you may not yet fully see. And so, chosen one, before you walk away in discouragement, remember this. Not every bond you carry is meant to be dropped when things get hard. Some bonds are the very battles that reveal your destiny. Have you ever felt this undeniable pull to someone and wondered if it's heaven's way of aligning your path? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear how God has revealed divine connections in your life. One of the clearest signs that a bond is heaven ordained is the intensity of the battles surrounding it. Notice how easy meaningless relationships can be. No resistance, no obstacles, no sleepless nights. But when it comes to a divine connection, the enemy unleashes his full arsenal of confusion, doubt, and division. Why? Because he knows that if this connection survives, it will birth something powerful that will shake spiritual realms. The very fact that you faced so many hurdles with this person should remind you of the weight of this bond. If it weren't significant, the enemy wouldn't waste his time. He is terrified of what you and this person could accomplish, whether it's healing generational wounds, building a legacy, or fulfilling a kingdom assignment together. So, the resistance you feel is not evidence that it's wrong, it's evidence that it's right. So, chosen one, when you're tempted to give up, pause and ask yourself, would the enemy fight this hard if it didn't matter? The attacks are not signs to quit, are signs to hold on tighter. What do you think? Have you noticed that the more meaningful something is, the harder the battle gets? Drop your experiences in the comments below and let's encourage each other. It's easy to want things instantly, especially when emotions are raw and the heart longs for peace. But chosen connections are rarely rushed, because God is not only preparing the bond, He is preparing both individuals. Maybe right now, the person you're connected to isn't fully ready. Perhaps there are wounds that need healing, lessons that need learning, or character that must be shaped. The same may be true for you. God delays the revelation of certain promises not to punish you, but to position you for lasting success. Imagine being given a priceless treasure before you've learned how to protect it. That's how divine connections work. If they come too soon, they can collapse under pressure. But when God has had time to shape patience within you and strength within them, the connection becomes unshakable. Waiting may feel like suffering, but it's really preparation. Every tear, every moment of silence, every unanswered prayer is heaven's way of strengthening you for what's to come. So don't mistake delay for denial. God is not withholding, He is aligning. Trust the process, chosen one, even when it hurts. In your waiting, remember, your patience today is building the foundation for tomorrow's unbreakable bond. You may not see it now, but God is orchestrating details far beyond your sight. While you wrestle with doubt, He is moving pieces you don't even know exist. Sometimes the silence you feel isn't abandonment, it's strategy. God is working in the other person's heart, softening them, teaching them, aligning them with His will. At the same time, He is refining you, shaping your patience, deepening your discernment, and strengthening your faith. What feels like inactivity is actually the busiest season of heaven on your behalf. Think about how Joseph spent years in prison, forgotten by men but never forgotten by God. During those hidden years, God was working in Pharaoh's palace, setting the stage for Joseph's elevation. In the same way, while you wait on this person, God may be preparing circumstances that will one day make the connection undeniable. The key is trust. You don't need to see the blueprint to know that the builder is at work. So, chosen one, don't let silence convince you to give up. Hidden work is still work. God's timing is always perfect, even when it feels painfully slow. Relationships are the greatest classroom God uses to shape his chosen ones. Think about it. Your growth, your strength, and even your spiritual maturity have often been shaped by how you navigate relationships. This person you're connected to is not only meant to bless you but also to teach you endurance, compassion, forgiveness, and humility. These lessons don't come through easy bonds. They come through connections that stretch you. When God allows someone to remain in your life, even in difficulty, it's because he knows they carry something essential for your journey. It might be a mirror reflecting your weaknesses, or a challenge forcing you to grow, or a gift that draws you closer to him. Either way, walking away too soon robs you of the very transformation that's tied to the relationship. If you've been exhausted, mentally drained, or spiritually attacked since meeting this person, you're not imagining it. This is spiritual warfare. The enemy does not waste his energy on connections that don't matter. He is fighting you so fiercely because he knows the power this bond carries once it fully matures. Every argument, every misunderstanding, every outside distraction is part of a larger plan to tear apart what heaven is trying to build. But here's the truth. Spiritual battles are not signs of defeat. They're proof of destiny. Just as Jesus faced temptation in the wilderness before stepping into his ministry, you too are facing storms before the promise is fulfilled. The warfare around this connection is not meant to destroy you. It's meant to test your endurance, sharpen your faith, and reveal your unwavering commitment to what God has ordained. One of the greatest struggles in holding on to a divine connection is the temptation to control it. You want to fix the problems, force the timing, and make everything align now. But that's not how God works. He asks you to release control and let him lead. When you try to manipulate the outcome, you risk breaking what he's building. True faith requires surrender, the ability to say, "Lord, I trust you even when I don't understand." Think about Moses. He wanted to deliver his people, but when he tried to do it in his own strength, he killed an Egyptian and had to flee into the wilderness for decades. Only when he surrendered to God's timing did his mission succeed. In the same way, you may feel urgency, but forcing what isn't ready will only delay the promise. Trust that God knows when and how to bring this person into alignment. Every prayer you've whispered for this person, every tear you've shed in silence, and every moment you chose faith over frustration has planted a seed. Seeds don't sprout overnight. They take time, care, and nurturing. Just because you don't see fruit yet doesn't mean nothing is happening. God sees every sacrifice, every intercession, and every act of love. Nothing is wasted. In fact, some of the greatest breakthroughs come after seasons where it looked like nothing was growing at all. Farmers know this truth well. They don't dig up the ground daily to check on the seed. They trust the process, knowing growth happens underground, hidden from sight. In the same way, your prayers are working beneath the surface. Heaven is watering what you've sown, and one day the fruit will be undeniable. So don't despise small beginnings, and don't abandon seeds that haven't yet sprouted. Your harvest is still coming. Do you believe that what you're sowing in faith today will one day become your greatest testimony? The pain you felt in this connection may not be punishment, it may be protection. Sometimes God allows hardship not to destroy you, but to shield you from stepping outside his will. That person you're tied to might need time to heal, to grow, or to mature before they can truly stand beside you. The delay may be God's way of sparing you from greater heartbreak down the road. Pain also deepens your compassion. It teaches you to love at a higher level, not based on convenience but based on conviction. Think about Christ. His greatest purpose was fulfilled through suffering. In the same way, your current struggle may be shaping you into someone who can carry the weight of destiny without collapsing under it. That ache in your heart is not wasted. It's forging you into a warrior of faith. Ruth's story is one of the clearest biblical reminders of why you must not give up. After losing her husband, she could have returned to her old life. Instead, she clung to Naomi and declared, "Where you go, I will go." Her loyalty seemed foolish to others, but it positioned her for destiny. That faithfulness led her into the lineage of Christ himself. Ruth teaches us that holding on when others walk away is often the key to unlocking divine favor. She didn't know her faithfulness would lead to Boaz or to being part of God's greatest story. She only knew that the bond she carried was sacred, and she refused to let go. Sometimes, like Ruth, you don't need to see the full picture. You just need to trust the pull God placed in your spirit. One of the hardest lessons for any chosen one is learning to wait. Our culture thrives on instant results, fast food, quick messages, immediate answers. But God operates differently. He tests your ability to wait, not to frustrate you, but to refine you. The person you're waiting for may be the biggest test of your patience, but that test is shaping your character for greater things. Think about Abraham and Sarah. They waited decades for the fulfillment of their promise. In their impatience, they tried to create their own solution, which only birthed unnecessary complications. But when they finally received Isaac, the wait proved worth it. In the same way, your waiting isn't empty. It's producing endurance, maturity, and faith that will sustain you for a lifetime. When God warns you not to give up on someone, it's not to trap you in pain. It's to protect the promise He placed inside you. His warnings are never random. They are rooted in His love. Just as a parent tells their child not to touch the fire, God tells you not to release this bond because He sees what's ahead. He knows the outcome will be worth the struggle. Sometimes His warnings come as a whisper in prayer, other times as a word through Scripture, and sometimes, like this very message, as direct confirmation. If your spirit feels stirred right now, that's because this is your sign. God is telling you, hold on, don't let go. This story isn't finished. He warns because He cares. He warns because He loves. There's a reason this connection feels overwhelming at times. It's because it's bigger than you. It's not just about romance, friendship, or companionship. It's about destiny. God often weaves two lives together not merely for personal joy but for kingdom purpose. That's why you can't seem to shake the feeling that this person carries weight in your story. They do. They're part of something that transcends the ordinary, something heaven designed before you were even born. When bonds are divinely orchestrated, they will always stretch beyond logic. You'll find yourself asking, why do I care so much? Why can't I let this go? The answer is that it isn't about your strength, it's about God's assignment. This person is tied to chapters of your future you haven't yet read. That's why the connection feels unexplainable, almost supernatural. It is. So, chosen one, don't dismiss what you feel as weakness or obsession. It's destiny stirring inside you. Let's be honest, sometimes giving up feels like the easiest way out. But what you save in temporary relief, you often lose in eternal reward. Walking away from a God-ordained bond doesn't just mean losing a person. It can mean forfeiting the growth, blessings, and purpose tied to them. The cost of quitting is far greater than the cost of waiting. Think of Peter walking on water. The moment he looked away and doubted, he began to sink. Had he kept his eyes on Christ, he would have fully experienced the miracle. In the same way, if you take your eyes off the promise and give up, you risk sinking into regret. Many people look back years later wishing they had held on just a little longer. Don't let that be your story. Here's a truth that's hard to accept. Sometimes God allows separation, not as an ending but as preparation. You may find yourself distanced from this person, and it feels like abandonment. But in reality, God may be using the space to refine both of you individually before bringing you back together. Just like a blacksmith refines metal in fire, God is purifying the bond by testing it in absence. Think about how Joseph was separated from his brothers. It looked like betrayal, but years later, that very separation led to reconciliation and salvation for his entire family. In the same way, God may be writing a story where separation today becomes testimony tomorrow. What feels like a loss could actually be the soil for future restoration. Deep down, you already know. Even when doubt creeps in, even when circumstances don't line up, something in your spirit keeps whispering, "Don't let go." That inner confirmation isn't just your imagination, it's the Holy Spirit speaking. God often places peace in your heart as evidence that you're on the right path, even when everything else feels chaotic. Pay attention to how your soul responds when you think about walking away. If heaviness fills you, if unrest follows, it's because your spirit knows this isn't meant to end. God will often allow your inner compass to point you back toward what He's written into your destiny. That's why you can't find peace in letting go. It's not time, and it's not His will. Every battle you faced around this person is a clue that the blessing is significant. The greater the opposition, the greater the promise on the other side. You may have endured misunderstandings, rejection, or seasons of silence, but none of it is wasted. These struggles are not random, they are refining you for what's ahead. God often wraps His greatest gifts in the fiercest battles. Why? Because only those willing to endure will be able to carry the weight of the blessing. If this bond came without resistance, you wouldn't value it as much. But because it's tested you, it will one day become a testimony of God's faithfulness. The scars you carry now will be proof that you fought for something sacred. One of the greatest acts of love you can give is prayer. Even when you feel powerless to change circumstances, you can always intercede for this person. Prayer invites God's hand into their life, protecting them, guiding them, and shaping them even when you can't. Every whispered prayer is a shield, every tear shed is a seed, and every word lifted to heaven is an act of faith. Sometimes the enemy convinces you that prayer is wasted energy, but that's the biggest lie of all. Prayer changes atmospheres. Prayer breaks chains. Prayer prepares hearts. Even if you can't see immediate results, heaven is moving in response to your persistence. And one day, you'll look back and realize that your intercession was the bridge that carried this bond through storms. We live in a world of clocks and calendars, but God's timing doesn't follow human schedules. You may feel like you've waited too long, but to God, you are right on time. He sees the beginning, middle, and end of your story simultaneously. What feels like delay to you is often divine precision to Him. Think about Jesus arriving late to Lazarus' tomb. To the people, it looked like failure. But Jesus knew the timing was perfect because the miracle would be even greater. In the same way, God's timing for your connection may feel frustrating now, but when it comes together, it will make sense in ways you couldn't have imagined. One day, the struggle you feel now will become a story you tell with tears of gratitude. You'll look back and thank God you didn't quit. You'll see how every delay, every battle, and every prayer led to something beautiful. The reward of holding on is not just the bond itself, it's the faith, strength, and maturity you gained along the way. The Bible promises that those who endure will reap a harvest if they faint not. Your endurance will not only bless you but generations after you. This connection may be the key to unlocking healing, restoration, and legacy. And when it happens, you'll realize it was worth every sleepless night, every unanswered question, and every battle fought. Chosen one, hold on. The reward is coming, and it will be greater than you can imagine. Are you ready to see the testimony God has been writing through your patience? Chosen one, this message wasn't sent by accident. It found you because God is speaking directly to your heart. He is warning you with love. Do not dare to give up on that person. The bond you carry is sacred, it is divine, and it is tied to destiny. The battle is proof of its importance. The delay is proof of its preparation, and your faith is proof of your strength. I want you to pause and reflect. Has this message stirred something deep in your spirit? If so, don't keep it inside. Share your story in the comments below. I want to hear how God has been moving in your life and how this word speaks to your current season. Your testimony may be the encouragement someone else desperately needs. And family, if you haven't already, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Awakened Era, and turn on notifications so you never miss these divinely timed messages. This is a community where chosen ones come together to grow, heal, and walk boldly in God's plan. Don't just watch, be part of the movement. Remember this, destiny doesn't come easy, but it always comes to those who endure. You are chosen, you are appointed, and your story is far from over.